This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shasheena Rolle. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, ZNS News has confirmed that the Grand Lucayan Resort has commenced the process of terminating a group of workers from that hotel property. At last report, some 30 employees have been terminated. This coming following opposition from the Commonwealth Union of Hotel Services that represents the employees at the hotel. The union's attorney, Obi Ferguson, telling ZNS News today that the terminations were not in compliance with the union's industrial agreement.
There is an agreement in place. The agreement dictates that certain things ought to happen before you reach to discretion of making them redundant. And they haven't done it. So if they fail to follow the law, they will be made to account for those workers and pay the appropriate damages. And possibly we're going to look to the court for reinstatement of every one of those workers that they fail to follow the procedures. Because you can't willy-nilly, you just can't willy-nilly change the laws. It ain't going to happen. We're not going to allow that to happen to Bahamas.
Now, the Director of Labor, Robert Ferguson, telling ZNS News that management of Grand Lucayan did give notice of the terminations and made a commitment to have the affected workers rehired by the companies that will be responsible for outsourcing the services. The attorney, Ferguson, says his commitment was not communicated with the union.
Government must intervene in order to resolve this matter. They can't sit there and don't do anything about it. See, they told the Director of Labor something that they never even mentioned to me. They said all the people will be, the employment will be continuous with the new company. Well, they never said it us. They have had no formal meeting with the union. And they're obligated to meet with the union under Article 22 of the industrial agreement that is in place. I'm waiting for a reply. We asked the Prime Minister who runs this country. He's the man that runs this country. We ask the man to intervene in the interest of our people.
Now, the union has applied to carry out a strike vote on Friday. Attorney Ferguson says the union is adamant that it will protect the rights of the workers at that property. And tonight, the leader of the National Congress of Trade Unions is coming to the defense of the Commonwealth Union and the terminated workers at the Grand Lucayan Resort. Here's Sabrina Brown with this report.
President of the Bahamas Public Services Union, John Pinder, says it's an all-too-familiar story on Grand Bahama, Bahamians being sent to the unemployment line without just cause. Pinder reacting to the recent layoffs at the Grand Lucayan Resort. He says for years now, the National Congress of Trade Unions and the BPSU have been calling for an amendment to the Employment Act, which he believes can address the many labor issues in the country.
No employee should be terminated without just cause. 2, where an employee is made redundant, that position should not be renamed and given to another employee. And where an employee is made redundant, they should be given an opportunity to fill any vacancy that they are suitable for within that business establishment. Or if the employer at some point reopens that position, they should be given an opportunity to fill it.
The union leader also responded to claims that permanent workers are being let go and offered casual positions.
Redundancy was intended for businesses to kind of downsize or right-size the business establishment, not to disadvantage long-serving employees because they do not wish to pay them benefits and then try to bring them in as relief workers or casual workers. Where do you ever hear of a hotel property that's actually making security officers redundant and then trying to bring them in with relief workers or trying to force them to work for some private company?
He's also troubled by the alleged union-busting tactics in the workplace.
They have been advised that a number of persons were terminated just because they were part of a union on that particular property in Grand Bahama. And so we must now call for the Minister of Labor to immediately enforce these amendments, and this, we believe, will be able to help protect the jobs of workers in our country.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Well, Grand Bahama Police making significant inroads in the war on drugs. After conducting surveillance in the East End area, officers uncovered a massive marijuana field and some high-powered weapons. $16.8 million. That's the estimated street value of the drugs police officials found in East Grand Bahama with the assistance of aerial patrols. The discovery led the media and police officials through a track road. The massive marijuana farm included some 167,000 plants and 27 plots spread over 2 miles of land. Officer in charge of Grand Bahama, Assistant Commissioner Emmerich Seymour, says this farm was well organized and professionally cultivated.
What I have here, what I'm holding, is a female marijuana plant, and as you can see, it's budding, and this plant will, as you would perhaps can appreciate, will multiply in very short order, thereby causing other plants to spring about. The soil is rich, lends to the fact that the place was well taken care of, was well cared for. The areas on which this marijuana discovery was made was well taken care of. So persons who are in fact responsible for this know exactly what they were doing.
A makeshift camp, personal and food items were also left behind. He says some evidence suggests that there may be Bahamians as well as foreign nationals involved in this matter.
Notwithstanding we haven't caught them yet, I'm happy to know that we would have disrupted this nefarious trade in that these particular plants will not get on the streets of Grand Bahama or nowhere else for that matter. They will be shortly destroyed, and so putting a dent into the pockets of those nefarious persons. We want to send a strong warning out to those persons, and of course any other person who are out there hell-bent on committing these type of activities, that our law enforcement effort will be relentless in bringing these persons to justice, relentless in trying to discourage this type of behavior on this island, and of course by extension the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
But marijuana isn't the only thing police officials found at that eastern location.
We also discovered or uncovered 2 very high-powered weapons. One is an AK-47, 2 is a Mark 11 with the corresponding ammunition in the camp, which suggests that those persons were armed and of course dangerous. And so it speaks to the level of criminality that we're dealing with in the cultivation of this particular marijuana plant and marijuana field.
It may have taken months for the culprits to cultivate the massive farm, but it only took a day for police officials to pull and bag up the illegal substance. ACP Seymour is convinced that this is not the first time marijuana was cultivated in the area.
These particular plants are perhaps not the first, and I'm saying that because in our discovery we also saw some dry marijuana plant, which suggests that this activity was going on for quite some time. And so some harvesting was already was also done at this particular site. And so it has been here for quite some time. And evidence to that is the discovery of the dry marijuana plants.
The local police chief is confident that at the end of their investigations, the person or persons responsible will be brought to justice. Well, police are also warning the public that counterfeit notes are in circulation here on Grand Bahama, the fake money appearing in the $100 Bahamian and U.S. bills. Business operators are advised to be on the lookout for the bogus notes that perpetrators generally use at night. Now, police are asking anyone with any information that could help in locating the person or persons responsible for the counterfeit money to contact them at 350-3107 or 8-911 or 919. And flooding once again at a major thoroughfare in West Grand Bahama. And while the government recently gave its commitment to rectify this problem, those affected are calling for less talk and immediate action. John Davis Rolle has this story.
Quick and decisive action, simply put.
It is what residents are calling for and motorists are demanding regarding the vexing situation at the Fishing Hole Road.
Really got to do something with this, but we got to at least put this bridge there, man. This don't make no sense, man.
How did you feel on approaching this area? Did you realize that there was actually flooding in the Fishing Hole Road area?
No, I wouldn't thought of it until I see it just now. I couldn't believe it. We got to really do something with this, because guess what? If somebody gets sick, the ambulance can't even pass.
And even coming so close to the hurricane season, definitely it makes you a bit nervous, doesn't it?
Really? I know it's bad too.
This is the Father once again giving us some signs about what we know is going to come. I feel that we're at a point where we're beyond looking at this problem. We've had engineers in here, we've had government people in here, we've had corporations in here. Please, 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 the powers to be. Spring has just come along. We're about to get rid of the cold fronts. It's going to be hurricane season again. We cannot afford a category 1, 2, or 3 in this area again. Please do what's right. Get it together. Corporate world, government, and fix the vaccine problem, please. We can't afford to lose any more lives or infrastructure based on this environmental hazard.
Flooding at this only thoroughfare in and out of West Grand Bahama has for decades been a bone of contention. The road constructed in the middle of the creek during the early days of Grand Bahama, now in 2014, continues to revert to its original function when it flowed freely into the Freeport Harbor, thus causing a major problem. Now residents say a resolution to flooding at the Fishing Hole Road must come sooner than later.
To do something with this situation, I have to be to work. What if it had been more higher than this, or could we cross?
Well, how long have you been trying to get over?
I'm trying, I watch it and I'm like, what? It's terrible. That's a really, really terrible decision, man. They need to do something.
What do you think needs to be done?
I think they need to put something that the water go under and we go over. Not a bridge. They have some big thing that they make so the water could go under and put the road on top. So at this little hand, we could just come right over and don't damage our car in this water.
Something obviously needs to be done because just with this little wind, the fish nose is already overflowing. So I think what they were trying to do to build it up or make some kind of passage for the water to go through, and it'll solve the problem.
Joan Davis Rolle, Saturday Network News.
Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues right after this.